Hey guys, Howard here, and today I am doing a deck profile. So, a deck profile is when basically you explain your deck, your Yu-Gi-Oh deck, or any type of deck in a card game. Usually a trading card game, not training card game. But today I'm going to do my Dark Magician deck, which I love this deck. This is my favorite deck I've had so far out of my, I don't know why that's in there, out of all the decks I've ever made. But yeah, let's just get right into it. So, obviously, for it to be a Dark Magician deck, you need Dark Magicians. So, you have 3 Dark Magicians, and here's the next card we have, Apprentice Illusion Magician. So, Apprentice Illusion Magician, if you've ever played this game, which is Yu-Gi-Oh, there's a card called the Tricky, which actually it's right here. You can special summon it from your hand by discarding 1 card, which is nice, especially when you're trying to be quick about getting attack points out there. And this is definitely one of those, except this is more Dark Magician favored, because after you special summon it, you can add, or normal summon it, you can add 1 Dark Magician to your hand. So, say you just have this and you take out a Allure of Darkness, summon that out onto the field. Not only are you going to have a good start with a 2000 attack monster, without any effects for when it attacks, it turns to defense, it's also going to give you a Dark Magician. And also, hold on, give me one. If you're, so basically, the other effect this has is if your Dark Magician or your other Dark Spellcaster monster attacks a monster, you can put it in your graveyard and give the other monster 2,000 attack points. So say this is attacking a Blue Eyes, so this has 2,500 attack, right? And a Blue Eyes has 3,000. Obviously, Blue Eyes is gonna win, but with this card, if you tribute it, it will give this an extra 2,000, and it will be 4,500 and beat the Blue Eyes. So that's a really nice card to have. Magician of Dark Illusion. So this card is always really good because you can use this for effects like the Eye of Timaeus or not Eternal Soul. You can use it for Dark Magic Circle, which I'll get into in a minute. So during your opponent's turn, if you activate a trap card or spell card on their turn, which is very likely, you can special summon this from your hand, and even when it's in the graveyard, you can do it. And also, if you activate one again, you can bring a Dark Magician from your graveyard directly to your, or is it special summoned? Right? Yeah, you special summon it, so you can literally just bring out a Dark Magician right then and there. So, I don't use this one much, Magician's Robe, but it's also really good in this deck. So, basically, during your opponent's turn, you can just put 1 spell trap in the graveyard and special summon a Dark Magician from your deck, which is always good to, with this deck, it's always good to have a Dark Magician on the field. It's very rare to not have a Dark Magician on the field with this deck. And if you don't, you usually just get a really unlucky hand. So that's another good thing about this deck. This is a complete speed deck. You'll probably finish the game in like maybe 3 or 4 turns, 5, if if they're lucky at all. But also the other effect is you can during your opponent's turn, you can activate a spell, trap card, or effect from this card in your graveyard. So basically, if this is in your grave. Wait, hold on. Oh, okay. So if you activate a spell or trap while this is in the graveyard, you can special summon it. But once it gets destroyed or destroyed in any way, it's banished instead of going to the graveyard, which is also really nice for like last second maneuvers. If they're about to finish you, this can just get in the way real quick. Magician's Rod, really good card in this deck, and it's a main card in the deck. So when this is normal special summon, you can add one spell or trap from your deck to your hand, and that's usually pulled to grab something like Eternal Soul, Magician's Navigation, or Dark Magic Circle, which I'll get into in a second. And if this is in the graveyard and you activate a spell or trap on their turn, you can tribute one spellcaster and put this back in your hand, which is really good. So you just have infinite draw power in your deck, and you just keep drawing what you want. The tricky, I already explained that beforehand. Basically, you just discard one card from your hand, and you can special summon it. Really good attack for right off the bat. Allure of Darkness. Now, Allure of Darkness is you draw 2 cards and then banish one dark monster from your hand. And if you don't have a dark magician or a dark monster, it takes your entire hand. It's not fun. So dark magic attack. So if you control a dark magician, destroy all spells or traps on your opponent's field. Basically, they could have all these face downs. Actually, you know what? I think that's self-explanatory if you know about Yu-Gi-Oh. So Dark Magic Inheritance, basically what this does is you banish 2 spell or traps in your graveyard, add 1 from your deck that has Dark Magician in the name or has something to do with Dark Magician, except Dark Magic Inheritance. And you can only activate it once per turn, but I only have 1 in the deck, so it doesn't really matter. Dark Magic Veil, so basically you pay 1,000 life points to special summon a dark spellcaster from your hand or graveyard, which you usually always want to do for a Dark Magician or a Magician of Dark Illusion. You never really want to do it for any of the other cards. It's usually just good for getting Dark Magicians out because you have effects to help later, and this is actually the reason why. So basically, when you activate this card, you look at the top 3 cards of your deck, and if it has Dark Magician in the name, you can bring it to your hand, or if it has Magician in the name. So you can usually grab a Magician's Rod. That's a main. If you ever see that, always grab it. You always want 1. 2 is good, 3 is overboard, but 1 is always needed. Well, not needed, but very good to have. So after that, if you summon or special summon a Dark Magician, you can banish 1 card on the field per turn. So it's really good to just get spells or traps out of the way, monsters out of the way if you don't have 1,000 Knives or a Dark Magic attack. It's just always good to have to get things out of the way. Yeah, I would say especially monsters, because you can bring them back with like Monster Reborn or different effects. So it's always good to have. Illusion Magic is you tribute 1 spellcaster monster and add 2 Dark Magicians to your hand from deck or graveyard. Sorry, I didn't know that one from the graveyard. So usually what you want to do is you want to have a Magician's Rod. And if you don't have any Dark Magicians, you usually want to grab an Illusion Magic and then use the Illusion Magic to get 2 Dark Magicians for usual Dark Magic Circle effect or Eternal Soul and Dark Magician's Navigation. So, let's get into the next one, Pot of Duality. So basically, this card, you look at the next 3 cards of your deck, add 1 to your hand, and shuffle the rest in your deck, and you can't special summon that turn. That is most usually a last resort, or if you can't special summon that turn, that's usually like a bad hand saver. Because usually with this deck, you're not going to special summon on your turn, you're going to special summon on your opponent's turn, which is very weird for a deck, but very good. So the next card is Raigeki, which destroys all monsters on your opponent's field, just to get them out of the way, or maybe if they have an effect that's screwing you up. It's just always good to get them out of the way. The Ayatamias. So basically, this substitutes as a polymerization. So if there's one with Dark Magician, 1, 2, 3, 4. Or wait, no, there's only 3. Scheiße. Anyway, basically you can get one fusion material from just Dark Magician, which is really nice when you don't need a Buster Blader or any other crap. Thousand Knives, basically if you control a Dark Magician or have him on the field, you can destroy one monster on your opponent's side. Twin Twister, you can discard one card from your hand, then destroy 2 spells or traps on the field, which is, of course, you always want to go for your opponent's cards. Dark Bribe. So this is usually like a trump card, or if it's about to destroy a card that you need, you just pull this out if it's a spell or trap and negate the effect and make them draw a card, because that's one of the only tournament legal ones. I do not have Solemn Strike or Solemn Warning in this deck. I do recommend those cards. They're very good. Do recommend. So, also we have Dark Renewal. So, when they normal or special summon a monster, you can target one spellcaster on your side of the field and one on theirs, and just put both in the graveyard. And after that, you special summon one spellcaster from your deck. So that's good for, like, if you have an Apprentice Illusion Magician, you just pull this out when they summon, tribute that, put in the graveyard, and then summon a Dark Magician. Really good. Really useful. Then you have Eternal Soul. Now, the Eternal Soul is also a very important card to have. So this card makes it so all your Dark Magician cards, which most of the cards in here, well, the 2 main monsters in here, change their names to Dark Magician, or are Dark Magician. And if it leaves the field, it destroys all monsters I control, which is usually why you want to be safe about it and know for sure that you want to activate this card. Then its effect is every turn you can special summon a Dark Magician from your hand or graveyard, or add 1 Dark Magic attack or Thousand Knives from your deck to your hand. So basically, if you have one in your hand or graveyard, you always want to summon one. Always. You always want one on the field, like I said before. And this just helps you do that. But if you already have all the ones you have in your hand or graveyard, you want to grab usually a Dark Magic attack. But if they have an opposing monster that is detrimental to you, of course you want to grab a Thousand Knives. So this is always a really good card to have, but it has its flaw of when it's destroyed, you can basically lose all your monsters. Magician's Navigation. Now this is another really good card to have all the time. So if you have a Dark Magician in your hand, you can activate this on your opponent's turn, special summon a Dark Magician, and then you can choose one other Dark Magician from your deck, which includes Magician of Dark Illusion. Then also this has another effect for when it's in the graveyard. When it's in the graveyard, you can banish it and negate one of the effects of a spell or trap on an opponent, or is it on an opponent's? No, just your opponent controls. And that's always good to have. It's just good way to get out Dark Magicians, like almost 90% of the cards in this deck. And then of course you want to have a Mirror Force for, obviously, if you're just getting straight attacked and you have no monsters, you always just want to plop a Mirror Force. So, time to get in the fusion monsters. Amulet Dragon. Now, I never really use this card, because you always want to go for Dark Magician of the Dragon Knight, but I don't know why this is in here either, so I'm going to put it on the side. So, Obviously, this must be fusion summoned with the Eye of Timaeus. Then, if this card is special summoned, target any number of spells in any graveyard, banish those targets, and if you do, it gains 100 attack. So, if you can't tell, there's a lot of spells in here. So, you banish all of those, he gets a ton of attack. But, when it's destroyed, you can special summon a spellcaster, aka Dark Magician, from the graveyard. So this is the main fusion card, and another I wouldn't say always have, because Ebon Illusion Magician is also really, really good. So, Dark Magician, the Dragon Knight, so its name becomes Dark Magician, so it has the effect of Eternal Soul, yada yada yada. And while on the field or in the graveyard, so yeah, what I was saying, the effect of Eternal Soul works on him to bring him back from the graveyard. And they cannot destroy or cannot target spells or traps. Also, they can't destroy, can't be destroyed by your opponent's card effects. So basically, literally spells or traps are completely safe while this card is on the field. That's why Eternal Soul is always good when you have this card on the field. Dark Magic Circles, well, always good to have, but it's just more protected with this card. And even when you summon this card, you can banish a card on your opponent's side of the field with this Dark Magic, the Dragon Knight. Now, Dark Paladin, good card to have, especially when you're facing a dragon deck. I don't actually have anyone to talk to that has a competitive dragon deck in this game. So, when a spell or trap card is activated, you can negate it by discarding a card from your hand. Also, its other effect is, like I was saying before, it's really good for dragons, because when for every dragon in the graveyard or field, it gains 500 attack. So that's really good if you're facing a dragon deck. Ebon High Magician, I don't use this card much, but it's always still good to have for a backup. So while this card has XYZ material, basically what you use to summon it, you can activate a quick play spell card or a trap card from your hand. So that's always good if you have to pull a Dark Magician or a Magician's Navigation right off the bat, like right out of your hand immediately, so they can't negate it their turn, which is nice. And if it is destroyed or sent to the graveyard, you can special, aka you can special summon from a Dark Magician from deck or hand, which is nice. Ebon Illusion Magician, another really good card in this deck to have. So basically, you usually want to put Magician of Dark Illusion and Dark Magician together to make Ebon Illusion Magician. So then you activate his effect to put Dark Magician in the graveyard to grab another Dark Magician from your deck, and then have the effect of Dark Magic Circle activate, and then have Eternal Soul bring it back, which that's usually the combo you always want to go for. And it's just nice to always have that be able to happen. And when a normal spellcaster attacks, so aka only Dark Magician in this deck, when he attacks, you can target one card to banish as long as he has XYZ material. So you can get monsters out of the way so you can finish them off turn 2. Like I was saying before, this is a very fast and speed deck. You do not want your opponent to set up. You don't want them to be able to get their cards on the field. You just want to be able to rush in and move in. So, with that, me explaining the deck, let's get into a duel. I will see you guys when I start up the duel. Okay, so I couldn't find anybody online. Literally no one was playing it this time. So I'm just going to go into one of the story duels with my Dark Magician deck. And also, if you guys want more of this, hit the like button and let me know down in the comments what deck you guys would want me to do next, or after my next deck, because I'm going to do one more of these no matter what. But still, I want to see what you guys think of these. And the next one I'm going to do is a Blue Eyes deck, which is another really good competitive deck. No, I do not want to activate you. Please, please. So, that's the problem if you play this deck in online or anywhere except Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro. It will ask you non-stop to activate cards. So, I'm going to do what I said before. I'm going to summon Magician's Rod. I don't have any Dark Magicians in my hand, so I'm going to activate that immediately. Pull out a Illusion Magic. And I'm going to pop that immediately to tribute him and grab 2 Dark Magicians. Then what I'm going to want to do is... No, that's not what I want to do. I want to set that. I could get that right off the bat. Yeah, let's do that actually. Let's put that in the graveyard to summon the Tricky. Because I'm gonna, since I have Dark Magic or Magician's Rod in the graveyard, I'm going to, next turn when I activate Magician's Circle, activate that from my Magician's Rod effect. God, I can't speak. To bring him out. I forgot this game had animations. And I can't tell if that's gonna ear rape or not. So, I'm gonna set him in offense mode. Yep, activate his effect. Tribute the Tricky to... And then activate his effects like I said before. If you activate an effect on your opponent's turn, you can special summon him from your hand. So, we've already got 2 Magician of Dark Illusions on the field. And a Dark Magician. That was turn, well, technically it was turn 3, but the game doesn't do it right. I don't know why they made it this way, but they did. So, what I'm going to do next before I do anything else is I'm going to summon Magician's Rod, activate his effect again to grab Dark Magic Circle, because this card is really good to have. Then I'm going to activate its effect. No, I don't want to activate Twin Twisters game. I do want to activate it, I guess, for another Dark Magical Circle. And then let's put him in order. I forgot to explain that. So you can put the next 2 cards in order from the deck. I still don't want to activate Twin Twisters game. Then I'm going to special summon. Since I don't, well, I have an Eternal Soul, so now this works. So I'm going to use those 2 to summon Ebon Illusion Magician. And let's set him up here because this is the Link version. Game. Actually, you know what? Just go ahead. Honestly. Yes, I want to destroy another. Okay, so I got those 2 cards out of the way with the Twin Twister, which is always, like I said, nice to have. But in this game, it can be very annoying. So now I'm going to activate Ebon Illusion of Magician's effect, putting Dark Magician in the graveyard to bring the Dark Magician from my deck. And then animation will show every time in this game, which when I do these type of videos is going to get very annoying because I have to get used to the deck. Yeah, let's activate his effect. Let me bring back Dark Magician from the graveyard. I'll probably try and cut the scenes after the first one, because God bless. I should that makes me sad. So, like I said before, I'm going to attack with Dark Magician, but activate Ebon Illusion Magician's effect to just banish it. And then I'm just going to attack directly. Attack directly. Pretty sure that's game. Yeah, that's game. And that's the speed deck. It was that easy. It's so easy to win with this deck. And honestly, this has been a deck I've wanted to make for a very long time. And I'm hoping to make it in real life after this entire quarantine ends. So, if you guys enjoy it, again, hit the like button and subscribe if you're new to the channel. Also, hit the bell to get a notification for whenever I upload. And I will see you guys next time.